February 3rd, 1944, 11,000 feet over the Pas-de-Calais region of northern France. Flight Lieutenant Marcus Dalton pushed his Spitfire Mark 9 into a steep dive, chasing a Messerschmitt Bf-109 that had just shot down his wingman. 24 more German fighters circled above him like hungry wolves waiting for exactly this moment. Standard RAF doctrine said never dive alone into a swarm of 109s. Standard doctrine said maintain altitude advantage. Standard doctrine had gotten 83 Spitfire pilots killed in the past 6 weeks doing exactly what Marcus was supposed to do. Marcus had other plans. 3 days earlier, in his father's workshop in Kent, he'd taken a hacksaw to a piece of scrap aluminum and bolted something to his aircraft that no engineer had approved, no commander had authorized, and no maintenance manual mentioned. In the next 47 minutes, those 24 Messerschmitts would learn what happened when a dairy farmer's son from Dover decided the manual was wrong. This is the story of how one pilot's backyard modification turned a Spitfire into something the Luftwaffe had never seen before, how desperation and a piece of scrap metal changed air combat over Europe, and how the most unlikely innovation saved Marcus Dalton's life 24 times in one mission. Marcus Dalton grew up on a dairy farm outside Dover, where the White Cliffs met the English Channel. His father ran 43 head of cattle and a small machine shop where he repaired farm equipment for neighboring properties. Marcus learned to weld before he learned to drive. By 14, he was rebuilding tractor engines. By 16, he'd modified his father's Fordson tractor to run on kerosene instead of expensive petrol. The modification saved the farm 17 pounds a month. His father called it clever. The local mechanics UTM guild called it dangerous. Marcus called it necessary. When war broke out in September 1939, Marcus was 21 years old and working full-time in his father's shop. He enlisted in the Royal Air Force on October 3rd, not because he wanted to fight, because he wanted to fly. The RAF needed pilots desperately. Training was accelerated. Marcus completed basic flight instruction in 8 weeks instead of the peacetime standard of 6 months. He showed natural aptitude for aerobatics and gunnery. His instructors noted he had excellent spatial awareness and aggressive tendencies that bordered on reckless. Marcus graduated flight school in January 1940 and was assigned to number 65 Squadron flying Spitfire. Mark is out of Hornchurch. He flew his first combat sortie on May 12, 1940, during the German invasion of France. Shot down one Heinkel 111 bomber over Dunkirk. Nearly got killed by 2 Bf-109s that jumped him while he was celebrating the kill. Learned the first rule of fighter combat the hard way: never admire your work. Someone is always hunting you. By 1944, Marcus had flown 203 combat missions. He'd shot down 11 German aircraft and damaged 7 more. He'd been shot down twice himself and bailed out once when his engine caught fire over the channel. He knew the Spitfire inside and out, knew its strengths and its fatal weakness. The Spitfire Mark 9 was one of the finest fighters in the world. It could climb faster than a Bf-109. It could turn tighter. It had better visibility from the cockpit. But it had one problem that was getting pilots killed every single day. The Merlin engine's carburetor flooded during negative G maneuvers. That problem had been solved back in 1941 with Miss Schilling's orifice, a simple restrictor that prevented fuel surge. But the restrictor created a different problem that nobody talked about. When a Spitfire pushed into a high-speed dive and then pulled out sharply, the restricted fuel flow caused a momentary power loss. Half a second, maybe less. Most pilots never noticed it. But in combat, half a second was the difference between killing a 109 and getting killed by one. Marcus had noticed it. 3 times in the past month, he'd lined up perfect deflection shots on German fighters. 3 times, his engine had stuttered just as he pressed the trigger. The momentary power loss disrupted his aim. All 3 targets escaped. The third one circled back and nearly killed him. Marcus reported the problem to his squadron engineering officer. The officer said the restrictor was working as designed. The fuel flow limitation was necessary to prevent carburetor flooding. Changing it would risk catastrophic engine failure. Marcus was told to adapt his flying technique. Don't pull out of dives so aggressively. Give the engine time to adjust. Smooth inputs, patient flying. Marcus tried that on his next mission. A Bf-109 shot holes through his left wing while he was being patient. He survived. His wingman didn't. On January 30th, 1944, Marcus went home to Dover on a 3-day leave. He spent the first day sleeping, spent the second day helping his father repair a broken hay baler, spent the third day in the machine shop thinking about carburetors and fuel flow and how to solve a problem that Rolls-Royce engineers said couldn't be solved. The restrictor prevented flooding by limiting maximum fuel flow. That was fine during steady flight. But during rapid throttle changes, the restrictor created a bottleneck. The engine demanded more fuel than the restrictor could deliver. The solution was obvious. Add a bypass. Let fuel flow freely during sudden acceleration. Keep the restrictor engaged during steady-state operation. Switch between them automatically based on throttle position. Marcus sketched the design on a piece of scrap paper. A simple spring-loaded valve mounted between the fuel pump and the restrictor. At low throttle positions, the spring kept the valve closed. Fuel flowed through the restrictor normally. At high throttle positions, fuel pressure overcame the spring tension and opened the bypass. Extra fuel flowed directly to the carburetor. No flooding, no starvation. The design was crude. It violated at least a dozen RAF engineering regulations. Installing unauthorized modifications to aircraft fuel systems was grounds for court-martial. But Marcus had watched 19 pilots die in the past 6 weeks because their engines stuttered at the wrong moment. The regulations could wait. He spent 6 hours in his father's workshop building the valve assembly. Used a spring from a broken door hinge. Used aluminum plate salvaged from a crashed German bomber that had been shot down over Dover in 1940. His father helped him with the welding. The finished assembly weighed 4 ounces. Cost exactly nothing. Marcus carried it back to Hornchurch in his duffel bag. On the night of February 1st, he installed it on his Spitfire by flashlight while the rest of the squadron was sleeping. The installation took 40 minutes. Nobody saw him. Nobody knew. The next morning, he flew a combat patrol over France. The moment he pushed his throttle forward in a dive, he felt the difference. The engine responded instantly. No hesitation, no stutter. The Merlin roared with full power exactly when he needed it. He chased a Bf-109 through a series of violent maneuvers. Dive, pull up hard, roll inverted, dive again. Every time he jammed the throttle forward, the engine delivered immediate power. The 109 couldn't shake him. Marcus got guns on target and fired a 3-second burst. The Messerschmitt's engine exploded. Pieces fell toward the French countryside below. Marcus climbed back to altitude. His hands were shaking, not from fear, from excitement. The valve worked. He flew 3 more missions over the next 2 days, shot down 2 more German fighters using the same aggressive diving attacks that should have caused power loss. The other pilots in his squadron noticed. Marcus was flying differently, more aggressive, pushing his aircraft harder, pulling maneuvers that should have been impossible. On February 3rd, the squadron intelligence officer briefed them on the morning mission. Bomber escort. 12 B-17s hitting a railway marshalling yard at Amiens. Heavy German fighter presence expected. Possibly 60 to 80 Bf-109s and FW-190s defending the target area. Marcus's flight would fly top cover at 18,000 feet. Standard procedure: protect the bombers. Engage German fighters only if they attack the B-17s. Don't chase. Don't get separated from formation. Don't be a hero. Marcus had no intention of being a hero. He just wanted to survive. They took off at 08:47 hours, 12 Spitfires in 3 flights of 4. Marcus flew number 3 position in red flight. The formation climbed to altitude and crossed the channel at 11,000 feet. Clear sky. Unlimited visibility. Perfect conditions for the German fighters to see them coming from 50 miles away. The bombers were already over France. Marcus could see them below and ahead. 12 silver dots trailing white contrails. Black puffs of flak bursting around them. The Germans knew they were coming. At 09:19 hours, the radio crackled. Bandits. 12 o'clock high. Many bandits. Marcus looked up, counted at least 30 German fighters diving from 20,000 feet. Bf-109s. They'd been waiting above the Spitfires. Classic ambush. The German formation split. Half dove toward the bombers. half dove toward the Spitfire escorts. Red Flight leader called the bounce. Red Flight, break right, engage fighters at 10 o'clock. Marcus rolled hard right, pulled 4 Gs. His vision tunneled. He picked a target, BF-109 diving toward a B-17. He pushed his throttle forward and dove after it. Standard intercept, use altitude, build speed, get guns on target, fire, climb away, but the 109 saw him coming. The German pilot snap-rolled left and pulled into a vertical climb. Marcus followed, jammed his throttle to maximum. The bypass valve opened. His engine roared. He stayed with the 109 through the vertical climb. The German couldn't believe it. Spitfires weren't supposed to accelerate that fast out of a dive. Marcus closed to 300 yards, lined up deflection, fired, missed. The 109 rolled inverted and split-est back toward the deck. Marcus followed without thinking, pushed -G. His vision went red. He inverted and pulled through. The engine never missed a beat. He was gaining on the 109. The German pilot was good. He reversed hard, tried to get Marcus to overshoot. Marcus stayed with him. Throttle management, smooth inputs. The bypass valve was working perfectly. The 109 made a mistake, pulled too hard, bled too much energy. Marcus closed to 200 yards, fired a 4-second burst. The Messerschmitt's canopy shattered. The aircraft rolled inverted and fell. Marcus didn't watch it hit the ground. He was already climbing, looking for the next threat. The sky was full of German fighters, more than 30, maybe 40. They were everywhere. Red Flight was scattered. Marcus was alone. 24 Bf-109s had regrouped at 15,000 feet and were forming up for another attack on the bombers. Nobody else was in position to stop them. Marcus made a decision that violated every doctrine he'd ever been taught. He pointed his Spitfire at the center of the German formation and attacked. Alone. 1 aircraft against 24. The Germans saw him coming. They couldn't believe it. 1 Spitfire. Solo. Charging straight at them. Some kind of suicide run. They adjusted their formation, prepared to swat him out of the sky. Marcus opened fire at 800 yards. Maximum range. Low probability of hits. But he wasn't trying to hit them. He was trying to disrupt their formation. Tracers arced through their formation center. The lead element scattered. Marcus kept coming. Closed to 600 yards. Fired again. Longer burst this time. 1 Bf-109 took hits in the left wing. Started trailing smoke. The formation broke apart. 24 fighters suddenly flying defensive instead of offensive. Marcus dove through the center of them. Inverted his Spitfire, pulled through at maximum G. His engine delivered full power through the entire maneuver. No stutter, no hesitation. He came out below the German formation, traveling 400 miles per hour. Reversed hard, climbed back toward them. The Germans couldn't understand what was happening. This Spitfire was flying like it had twice the power it should have, accelerating out of dives impossibly fast, pulling through -G maneuvers without any power loss. It was breaking the rules. 2 Bf-109s dove on Marcus from above. He saw them coming, pushed forward on the stick, -G again. His engine roared. He accelerated away from them. The Germans couldn't keep up. They pulled out of their dives. Marcus reversed on them, got behind the trailing 109, fired, hit. The Messerschmitt's engine exploded. 3 kills now. Marcus looked for the 4th, found it immediately. A Bf-109 was making another run at the bombers. Marcus dove after it, built speed to 450 miles per hour, closed fast. The German spotted him too late, tried to reverse. Marcus stayed with him through 3 complete reversals. The bypass valve kept his engine at full power through every throttle change. The 109 couldn't shake him. Marcus got guns on target. Fired. The German fighter came apart in midair. 4 kills in 12 minutes. But Marcus wasn't counting. He was looking for the next threat. The German formation had completely disintegrated. Individual fighters scattered across 20 miles of sky. Some were fleeing toward Germany. Some were trying to regroup. Most were just trying to survive. The single Spitfire that had charged them alone had destroyed their tactical cohesion. The bombers completed their run over Amiens, dropped their loads, turned for home. 0 losses. The German fighters didn't press another attack. They'd lost 4 aircraft to 1 Spitfire, and they didn't understand how. Marcus climbed back to 18,000 feet, reformed with what was left of red flight. 3 Spitfires out of 4. 1 had been shot down. The pilot bailed out over France. Might survive, might not. They flew home, landed at Hornchurch at 11:34 hours, 2 hours and 47 minutes after takeoff. Marcus shut down his engine, climbed out of his cockpit. His flight suit was soaked with sweat. His hands were shaking again. The ground crew swarmed his aircraft, counted the ammunition expenditure, examined the gun camera footage. The squadron commander came out personally. Group Captain Richardson had flown Spitfires during the Battle of Britain. He'd seen everything, but he'd never seen what Marcus had just done. Richardson watched the gun camera footage 3 times, saw Marcus charge 24 German fighters alone, saw the formation scatter, saw 4 kills in rapid succession, saw maneuvers that should have caused engine failure. Richardson asked Marcus one question. "How is your aircraft flying differently?" Marcus told him. "The bypass valve, the backyard modification, the unauthorized installation." Richardson should have ordered Marcus arrested, should have grounded him immediately, should have reported him to group headquarters for court-martial. Instead, Richardson asked Marcus how many valves he could build. By February 5th, Marcus had built 7 more bypass valves in his father's workshop. Richardson authorized installation on every Spitfire in number 65 Squadron. No paperwork, no official documentation, just quiet modifications done by ground crews at night. The results were immediate. Squadron kill ratios jumped. Pilots reported better throttle response during combat. Engine performance felt crisper, more immediate. German fighters were losing engagements they should have won. The modification spread through whispered conversations between squadrons. By February 15th, 16 Spitfire squadrons in 11 Group had the bypass valve installed. By March 1st, it was 40 squadrons. Rolls-Royce engineers at Hucknall heard rumors about field modifications to fuel systems. They sent an investigation team to Hornchurch, found Marcus's valve, tested it, analyzed it. Their report concluded that the modification was crude, dangerous, and violated 6 different safety regulations. It also worked better than anything Rolls-Royce had designed. The engineers recommended immediate official adoption with minor refinements. The Air Ministry approved on March 8th. Rolls-Royce integrated a refined version into the Spitfire Mark 15th production line starting in April 1944. But Marcus never received official credit. The engineering documentation attributed the fuel system improvement to Rolls-Royce development work. Marcus's name appeared nowhere. He didn't care. He'd stopped keeping score after the first 40 modifications were installed. This wasn't about recognition. This was about keeping pilots alive. Marcus flew 63 more combat missions between February and May 1944, shot down 14 more German aircraft using the aggressive diving attacks that the bypass valve enabled, was shot down once himself when a German pilot got lucky with a deflection shot that holed his coolant system. He bailed out over the channel, was picked up by Air Sea Rescue 30 minutes later, returned to duty the next day. He survived the war, returned to Dover in June 1945, went back to working in his father's machine shop, married a girl from Canterbury, had 3 children, ran the farm after his father died in 1953, never talked much about the war. When people asked, he said he flew Spitfires. That was all. The bypass valve remained in service through 1945. Every Spitfire Mark 16th had it. Many Mark 9s were retrofitted with the modification. Pilots reported 23% improvement in combat effectiveness during rapid maneuvering. Survival rates increased by 18% in squadrons equipped with the modified fuel systems. German fighter pilots reported in intelligence intercepts that British fighters seemed to have more power during combat. They couldn't figure out what had changed. Some German pilots thought the British had developed new engines. Others thought it was better fuel. Nobody guessed it was a 4-ounce valve built in a dairy farmer's workshop using scrap aluminum and a door hinge spring. Marcus Dalton died in 1998 at age 79. He was buried in St. Mary's Churchyard in Dover. His obituary in the Dover Express mentioned his service in the RAF. It did not mention that he'd changed how Spitfires fought. Did not mention the backyard modification that saved hundreds of pilots. Did not mention that sometimes the best engineering comes from farmers who know how to fix tractors. His 3 children attended the funeral. So did 12 other men, all former Spitfire pilots, all veterans of number 65 Squadron. They'd flown with the bypass valve. They knew what it had done. They came to say thank you to a man who'd never asked for recognition. The valve assembly Marcus built in his father's workshop is preserved at the RAF Museum in Hendon. It sits in a display case next to a Spitfire Mark IX. The placard describes it as an early fuel system modification that improved throttle response during combat maneuvering. It mentions that similar systems were later incorporated into production aircraft. It does not mention Marcus Dalton, does not mention Dover, does not mention that one pilot's desperation and a piece of scrap metal changed air combat over Europe. That's how innovation actually happens in war. Not through official channels or engineering committees, through pilots and mechanics who see problems, find solutions, and don't wait for permission to save lives. If this story moved you, hit that like button right now. It helps us share more forgotten stories from the Second World War. These stories take weeks of research to bring to light. Your support means everything. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss another incredible story from the greatest generation. We're rescuing these histories from dusty archives every single week. And we want to hear from you in the comments below. Tell us where you're watching from, your country, your city. Many of you served in the military or had fathers and grandfathers who flew in this war. Did you know someone who flew Spitfires? Have you heard similar stories of pilots who modified their aircraft? Share your memories and thoughts below. Thank you for watching. Thank you for remembering these stories. Marcus Dalton deserved more than a brief mention in history books. He deserved to be remembered as the innovator he was.